Welcome to Assay TV. I'm here in Hong Kong with Steve Parsons, who is the Managing Director of Bellevue Gold. Steve and his team have been re-exploring the historic Bellevue gold mine in Australia and have taken the company up to an impressive market cap now of well over 300 million. Steve, welcome to the Assay TV. To start things off, tell us a little bit about how you came to acquire the Bellevue mine.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Leo. Good to chat. The property was originally a very high-grade gold mine from about 1986 through to 1997, and it produced almost 1 million ounces of gold at a fairly impressive 15 grams per tonne. So super high grade, very, very profitable in its day. And then it closed down, and at that point it was then owned by the nickel company. So it was owned by Curie Hermanus with Jubilee Mines, as they had their big Cosmos nickel discovery, and that was bought by Xstrata for about $4 billion, if you recall, a massive takeover in its day. And then Xstrata owned it from that point on, and literally it was just used as a dewatering exercise for a period. And so then when Xstrata exited Australia about 3.5 years ago, they sold all their nickel properties, and then they sold the gold properties. And of course, the gold properties, that's when we were able to secure it. So it was in late 2016 that Bellevue was able to secure the ground, and it wasn't until pretty much sort of 6 or 8 months later that we actually drilled the first holes onto the property.
And what have you discovered to date?
Well, it's been a pretty impressive discovery. So, we always had in the back of our minds that, being such a high-grade gold mine in its day, that there was always going to be something to be found nearby and around the old mine. But when we drilled our first holes into it, the discovery hole on hole number 6 was something like 7 metres at 27 grams per tonne gold, pretty much from surface and only a few hundred metres away from the old mine. And that was in Christmas 2017. And then so from early 2018 through to now, we've grown the resource to 1.8 million ounces of gold at 11.1 grams per tonne, and it's very much open to the north and to the south. It's open at depth, and we've literally just found that it carries on into the hanging wall and footwall as well of the old mine. So it's been a really, really good discovery.
So tell us a little bit about the geology of the project.
Yeah, well, the geology is actually pretty amazing, and having been this really high-grade gold mine for 10 years and producing from 1986 to 1997, as I was saying, and what happened was they lost the ore body. They couldn't find it, and the theory in the day was that there was this fault that had come through, which everyone knew about, this fault called the Highway Fault, and that there would be never any gold found on the other side of this fault. And so, of course, that is pretty interesting in itself when you've got a geological theory that, there's nothing to be found on one side of something, and then, we go and drill some holes on the other side of it, and, there we go, it's 1.8 million ounces later and growing. So the geology has been fairly, spectacular for us in the fact that, it's always good to revisit old projects and look at, theories of why things should be or shouldn't be, and maybe just throwing that and having a bit of a more in-depth thought.
Where did the theory come from? And why didn't anyone else go back and have a look beforehand?
Well, the theory was, because there was actually a fault there, but the theory was that this fault was post-mineralisation, so it happened after the mineralising event. However, what it actually is, it's a pre-mineralising event, and then there's a couple of other faults that are associated with the ore body, and they were the small faults that offset the ore body. And the reason it never got tested is because it was basically held by these nickel companies afterwards. So, and the nickel companies had no interest in looking for gold. There was not one drill hole drilled during all of that 20 years while it was owned by Xstrata and Jubilee Mines.
And do you have additional regional targets to explore?
Yeah, so look, when we first picked up the ground, it was very much about just focusing in around the old mine and seeing if we could find extensions or new mineralisation, and that's what we've done, which has been great. But we do have about 3,500 square kilometres of tenure as well, of which we've got 20 kilometres of strike potential on this as well, and we've literally done no work on that. So Q1 next year, we're really excited. We've actually got an exploration budget ready to go out there and start testing along that 20 kilometres of strike.
Right. The last few years, people would say, have been tough for the junior miners to raise capital. How have you found the market?
Well, look, without a doubt, it is always, these capital markets are always open and close, and they, close very quickly, as we all know. We've been very fortunate because of the high-grade nature of the discovery and the rapid rate of knots of the discovery as well that we've had, that the capital markets have definitely been open for us. And, we've gone from being very much just a purely retail mum and dad, sort of junior shell company type stock to now we're, a bit over 50% institutional, and those institutions are global institutions.
Who do you have on your register, for example?
Yeah, well, it's growing all the time, and the biggest one at the moment is a group called 1832 out of Canada, a big resource long gold fund. They own a bit over 10% of the company. We also have Van Eck, which is again another big, global gold, fund as well, who's just come substantial recently, and another one called Regal Funds Management as well, recently come on board. And of course, the board and management team, we own just under 10% of the company as well.
So who do you have on the board?
Yeah, so the board is made up of myself. I'm the managing director of the company. My background is exploration geology. We've just brought on board a new executive, non-executive chairman called Mr. Kevin Tomlinson. Kevin's been involved in a lot of mining companies over the years and had great success as well. He was one of the key directors of Centamin, building the mine in Egypt for a long time there. He was involved in Orbis as well, which was taken a big discovery in West Africa that was taken over by Semafo. He also sits on a couple of other boards as well. And then we also have a guy called Mike Naylor, who is our CFO, company secretary, and has been involved with us for a long time. So 3 of us on the board at the moment.
Fantastic. And is your plan to take the project through to production?
Well, ultimately, that would be that's something that we're definitely looking. We're excited about doing. Right now we've been having some great success with the drill bit, and so we have $32 million in cash in the bank and 6 diamond core drill rigs turning at the moment. So we're going to stick with what we're doing, which has been really good, and that's growing the resource. So you'll see the resource growing again next year as we continue to step out on the ore body and also to start looking deeper below the original discovery as well. And then at some point next year, you'll see us really looking at the de-risking of the project as well as the expansion and the growth. And the de-risking will be involving the dewatering of the old workings, getting back down there, drilling it out from underground, and then progressing economic studies and looking to hopefully move it towards development and ultimately into production.
How long do you think before you'd start looking at doing PFS and feasibility studies?
Yeah, so that work is pretty much already underway in early stage work. So we've done a whole bunch of study work already, all the background work, geotech and geochemical, metallurgy, those sort of things as well. So yeah, I'd be expecting to see sort of 3rd, 4th quarter next year for us to be coming out with some sort of economic preliminary study work.
You're in a prolific region for gold mines. So tell us about some of your neighbours.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's an amazing region for mineral wealth, and in fact, it's actually quite amazing how many how much mineral wealth is actually within, say, a 50-kilometre radius of where our deposit is. We literally have big nickel mines. BHP Nickel West sits only a few kilometres away from us, with Honeymoon Well as well. And then, of course, the gold miners, you've got Goldfields just basically 30 kilometres to the south of us, producing 200,000 ounces a year. You've got Saracen, another half an hour away with Thunderbox. You've got Sons of Gwalia, St Barbara Mines, obviously a major big deposit that's gone for a very, very long time there. And then 30 kilometres to our east, we've got Northern Star, which have a massive land holding on that on the belt next to us. So it's a major district for both nickel and gold.
And given the amount of cash that Australian gold producers have been generating in recent years, they must be maybe looking across at your project as a potential for resource replacement? Oh,
look, I mean, I can't tell what other companies are doing, but look, without a doubt, it is without a doubt one of the standout new discoveries that's happening in Australia at the moment, without a doubt. The grade is super high. It's very rare to see, plus 10 gram per tonne, new resources happening, and it's very rare to see, resources growing, above 1 million ounces, and here we are at 1.8 million ounces, and it's, it's going to be growing much bigger than that over the next year or two as well. And so for the rest of the year and going into 2020, what are your key goals looking forward? Yeah, so look, it's a really exciting time for us. The next 18 months is super exciting. It's very much, as I said, it's going to continue to drill. The resource is very much open, north and south. It's open at depth as well. And now with the new discoveries of the Deacon lode and the footwall of the old ore body. We've been having some of the highest grades that we've ever seen on the property. I mean, we announced just the other day something like 4.5 metres at over 60 grams per tonne gold. So, you know, we're focusing in on those sort of areas because the grade is so amazing. So yeah, the rest of this quarter you'll see us continuing to step out on the drilling. Next year you're going to see us, the dewatering will be starting. I'd imagine you'll be seeing us drilling the resources out to move them into the measured and indicated category, and of course that'll be the basis for economic study work as well. So a lot going on between now and Christmas next year.
Absolutely. And you're diamond drilling at the moment, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So every drill hole we drill in the property is a diamond drill core, so it's good quality drilling that we have, and you get to see what's coming out of the ground. And the amazing thing is as well, I mean, you know, we're still discovering gold for $15 an ounce, discovery costs, Australian dollars as well. So, you know, it's been really cost-effective, exploration that we've been doing.
So, Steve, where can people go to find out more about your company?
Very simple. You can either jump on the ASX platform and look on that online, or very much come to our website, bellevuegold.com.au, or we've got plenty of social media sites as well. We try and update people that way, such as Twitter and the likes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here in Hong Kong.
Great, thank you.